The Nelson Mandela Bay Council meeting that was due to debate a motion of no confidence against Mayor Eugene Johnson has been adjourned until further notice. City Manager Dr. Noxolo Nqwazi adjourned the meeting after papers appealing a declaratory order against 3 Northern Alliance councillors was brought forward. They include the Speaker, Gary van Niekerk.
Amongst the items that were expected to be discussed at today's council meeting was the motion of no confidence against Mayor Eugene Johnson. But that motion was not even passed. This after alleged threats against certain DA councillors halted the meeting temporarily. Shortly after that, there was more drama.
We have received court papers that have been served on us. It seems in terms of the court papers that are stamped today, the 7th of the 9th, by the Office of the Chief Justice, there's an appeal against the order that was received by the 3 Northern Alliance councillors. And therefore that means that the order against them has been nullified until the appeal has been heard and finalized.
Based on this order, the council meeting could not go on. It later emerged that Noxolo Nqwazi and the Nelson Mandela municipality were the ones that brought the court order.
The 15 billion rand budget at play here, and the ANC doesn't likely give up that kind of budgets. We are not surprised that the ANC didn't pitch, because we knew if they did pitch, they would have been removed from government. So the only way that the ANC and Nelson Mandela Bay can now hang on to government is if they launch frivolous court motions and applications, because if they come to council, they know they'll be voted out because they haven't got the numbers to stay in government.
As the accounting office of the municipality, you should ensure that the finances of the municipality is properly spent. You can't side with one political party, enter a reign of politics. She's an administrator. She's supposed to fulfill what the political leadership is advising her to do, and deliver services to the residents in Nelson Mandela Bay. Her focus should be service delivery. Her focus should not be to go to court to block us from removing the ANC from power.
The ANC, who did not attend the council meeting, say they did not issue the papers to court.
We're not going to participate as the ANC in irregularities. We're not going to legitimize the illegitimate. And particularly, we're not going to legitimize platforms where the usurpers of our lands in the form of the Democratic Alliance, want to thieve governance, they want to thieve due process, they want to thieve getting into City Hall. So the ANC, in a properly constituted council meeting, will be forming part of it. It will be championing those critical service delivery decisions must be taken, which in the previous council meeting were deferred by the Democratic Alliance.
The matter of the legitimacy of the Speaker of Council, Gary van Niekerk, and the 2 other Northern Alliance councillors will be heard tomorrow, when judgment is passed on the matter at the Port Elizabeth High Court. The councillors challenged their removal as councillors by the Northern Alliance and the declaring of their vacancies by the IEC. Van Niekerk says they will ensure they also stop the passing of Section 12.
It's sad that we can't put the interests of the residents first, and it's time that we hold ourselves to account, and it's time that the ANC, especially the ANC, takes the responsibility and hold themselves to account for what's happening here today. We certainly won't form part of any ANC coalition anymore. It's final. And yes, we are now part of the DA coalition.
The EFF did not attend. The next date for the council meeting has not been set. Lerato Fekisi, SABC News, Gqeberha.
The ANC in Johannesburg has refuted allegations of bribery and corruption levelled against its councillors in the city of Johannesburg. Party Regional Chair Dada Morero says if there's proof that ANC councillors bribed IFP and Patriotic Alliance councillors, then it must be brought forward. Votes were reportedly brought which saw the ousting of Council Speaker Vasco da Gama. This week, 7 political parties who are in a coalition government in the city opened cases of bribery against some ANC councillors. The ANC allegedly offered a 150,000 rand bribe to buy votes from councillors to support a vote of no confidence against Mayor Dr. Pule Mabe. The ANC supports the motion against Mabe, which has yet to be tabled.
We have not bribed anyone, and we'll stand by our word, and we are saying, tell us who bribed who. So the ANC can act, and that person must be arrested, must be charged, because it's criminal to begin to bribe people because you wanted them to vote for you. In fact, the councillors that voted because they've got a strong belief and a conviction that Da Gama is not fit for the job. And by the way, the very same Action SA has written at least 3 letters in which they were complaining about the conduct of Vasco da Gama themselves.
What about
including the MMC of the DA, Councillor Soon, complained about the conduct. So that thing's there, it's written.
Let's stay with developments on the ANC. The party has postponed its nomination process ahead of its elective conference in December. The process was meant to kick off today. The ANC says it will hold a special NEC meeting this weekend to finalise membership issues. Now, Pule Mabe is the party spokesperson and joins us live now. Pule, thank you so much for your time. I know you say that there's going to be some issues that need to be finalised at the weekend, but take us through why the postponement.
Well, let me greet you and the viewers at home. We were to have a media engagement which was to be conducted by the Treasurer General on behalf of the Secretary General's office, Comrade Paul Mashatile, to really give an update on the nomination process. As you would recall that previously when we had a briefing with Comrade Khalima in his capacity as the chair of the Electoral Committee, we did indicate that today, the 7th of September, will formally open for the nomination processes. But the NEC that said a week or so ago, special NEC, took a decision that there should be an extension on membership. So that extension was granted up until the 3rd of September. Now, as we were planning to have the media engagement yesterday, we then learned later on that our organizing committee our organizing team need to finalize with the reconciliation of membership, which would then be submitted to the Treasurer General on behalf of the SGO, latest by Friday, so that it could then be processed for the special NEC that is expected to sit on Sunday. That NEC would then adopt the membership that also takes into account the renewals. The importance of this exercise is that it then makes a determination on how many branches are expected to participate in the national conference. And if, say, for instance, we're a member of Ward 96 in Johannesburg, and suddenly your membership has grown, what it then means is that because delegation is then awarded to branches proportionally according to the number of delegates or according to the number of members that they have. So if the growth of your membership makes a determination that you must now have more number of delegates, that now has got to be factored in. Because once we've adopted the membership, it means when the NEC rises, the special NEC rises on Sunday, we will be having draft credentials.
Okay, so you're confident that everything will be ironed out this weekend?
By the way, beyond being ironed out, we don't have a problem. It's just that we are a big organization. We're not a big in any movement. We're a big organization. Now we are dealing with big numbers. We've got over 3,000 branches spread across the country. We've given so we have not had time to talk to the media in between when we had our special NEC and now. We had hoped that we'll have finalized these processes, but I was telling one of your colleagues in one of your radio stations here in the SABC earlier today that it is actually in the positive. This postponing this to Sunday basically suggests that many of our members have actually renewed their membership, which tells of a story of members of the ANC that want to really participate in processes leading up to the 55th National Conference. This is encouraging to the national leadership.
So let's talk about then this participation process, and as you say that it's a positive, but one of the things that we also saw were some difficulties when it comes to branch general meetings, with this particular nomination process in the past. We saw in Mpumalanga, we saw in the Eastern Cape. Do you think or foresee as the ANC any challenges with the BGMs?
Well, you'd know, I mean, I was actually talking to Chief Matsela, who assists Comrade Khalima in the Electoral Committee, and we were just, having a small talk and actually joking about this, that actually it's quite strange that the National Conference of the ANC has got less conflict and less tension than provincial and regional conference of the ANC. Perhaps our regions and provinces can draw a leaf out of what happens in the national conference. Whether it was in Polokwane, it was in Stellenbosch, it was in Mafikeng, it was in Mangaung, it was in Nazareth. You don't have issues in the same way that you would have in provincial and regional conferences. Look at what we are doing now on Sunday. We are signing off draft credentials. So when we rise on Sunday, we will be knowing how many branches are expected to participate in the national conference and what will be the makeup of the delegation. Because when you go to provincial and regional conferences, you find that a few of the ones that one would have attended, you find that an area of conflict tends to be credentials in those conferences.
But are you concerned that there might be violence again when this nomination process kicks off? Pule, we've seen in some of the provinces violence. We've seen in Mpumalanga. So are you not concerned?
Yes.
Do you foresee that this might be a challenge, though?
That's what I'm saying. We're just having this light talk with Matsela, that in the national conference, I mean, you're talking about incidences leading up to the provincial conference. We're now talking about incidences leading up to the national conference. And I'm saying to you, if we draw on history, we've never had any violent issues around the national conference. It's peaceful. I don't know. Maybe it's because, perhaps it's because here, I mean, provincial issues are too close to home. Region, it's even worse. I mean, it's that Keida who stays in the same street with you. So issues are much more intimate, closer to home. You go to a province, they now include many other towns. Now you go to the national conference. This is now the country. We have never had that. We didn't have this. We have never had a chaotic national conference of the ANC. So
I suppose then you do not foresee problems with the BGMs, because that is going to, once the nomination process is open, Pule, it kicks off those branch general meetings. Now, which is where the question is to say, how concerned are you about these BGMs that would you be able to see like coherence, as you say, with national, the national conference, as you say, it's peaceful, but with BGMs in the past, we've seen tensions rising there. So how concerned are you about these BGMs? Well, of course, I mean, with tensions that played themselves out leading up to provincial and regional conferences, it's a bit of a worry. It is not consistent with the conventions, the culture, and the values of the African National Congress. We have made an overall appeal to our members that they should use BGMs as platforms through which they can express their own views. And you would have seen, it's just that we did not have BGMs en masse leading up to the policy conference of the ANC. But your colleagues covered the policy conference. They will have told you that there was a great sense of camaraderie. I was there as well. You were there as well. You would have seen as well yourself. There was a great sense of camaraderie, dynamism prevailing in the vicinity of the 6th National Policy Conference. And we are hopeful that, but by the way, where we have seen what appear like foreign tendencies in the African National Congress, we are not necessarily going to fold our arms. We want members of the ANC to know the following, that the space of BGMs should be one that is peaceful, one that they could know that they feel accommodated, they will be able to express themselves without any fear or favor. We want them to know that. And we are giving them that assurance that we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that the space of BGM
is colored with greater harmony and peace.
So the process, now has its own rules. You're talking about what the former President Kgalema Motlanthe, those rules that we saw being released and all of that. Are you not foreseeing a legal challenge on that front, given the fact that if you look at those rules, there are some of the leaders who are going to be locked out of the process and they'll not be able to contest come December. So are you as a party envisioning some legal challenges on that front?
Well, over the past few years, we have become such a litigious organization to an extent that litigations, we have now made them part of the work we do. So the things that we have to prepare for, we have to make sure that all balance and checks are done. We avoid any possible or potential embarrassment that could come to the ANC. So we always have got, we've got our own legal team on brief. They are always on the side, just in case they need to deal with an issue. But we are confident. We've already published the guidelines. No one has raised any issue. You can't, when you have not raised an issue, suddenly when nominations start, ask that. I mean, any court that takes itself seriously will ask you, when did you know about these guidelines? Surely, even if they started nominating today, they would not have known them today. I mean, members, I don't know of any member of the ANC who has not logged themselves in 1 or 2 WhatsApp groups. I mean, there are many WhatsApp groups. Almost each and every ward has got a WhatsApp group. And all this information gets to be disseminated through those platforms. And I would love to be a fly on those WhatsApp groups to see what gets discussed. But Pule, let's change gears slightly, and talk about this issue of the Phala Farm saga. You have some opposition parties that are going to be marching on Friday to the Office of the Public Protector. They are calling on the Public Protector to release this particular report, because we've also seen what purports to be a leaked answer by the president, which is also startling because it may reveal that he may have known more than, if that is true, more than what he has said in the public domain. I wonder, what do you make first of this particular protest? And I'll come to my question next. Well, Bongi, I mean, opposition political parties are opposed to everything that the ANC stand for. Whether it's Phala Farm, whether it's any other issue that may arise around any leader of the ANC, they will grab that opportunity to use that to build on a narrative that there could be a future for the people of South Africa themselves. So the ANC doesn't need to really spend too much energy and weight applying itself on what opposition parties are doing. We do not sit in their meetings. We are not part of the construct of their own agenda. They determine and dictate how they want to position themselves out in the public space. So they are doing what opposition parties are doing. There's an issue out in the public that involves the president of the African National Congress. These opposition parties have already made their voice clear that going into the 2024, they want to contest the ANC. So anything and everything that they believe would help them garner a bit of mileage, they will go for it.
But be that as it may, Pule, surely you should be worried as the ANC. I mean, the president talks about how we should wait. The nation must wait for the processes that are unfolding right now through different investigations to be allowed. Yes. But yet we are seeing reports that are also suggesting that there may have been a mysterious Sudanese, person bringing money, and then that money was then put in a sofa. And this is purported to be a leaked answer that he is said to have given to the Office of the Public Protector. But this matter is not going away. While the president says the nation must wait for the processes to unfold, surely the ANC has got to be taking a position here and being worried about this matter. It's not going away.
Well, the African National Congress has long communicated its stand on this. The president of the ANC has appeared before our own Integrity Commission. We will receive such a report. We will be able to deliberate on that and communicate more fully the stand of the ANC. We have acknowledged, even here on your own platform, that the brand ANC has been battered out of this. What has given us comfort is the fact that the president of the ANC has never evaded dealing with issues around the Phala Farm.
But in Parliament, they said he evaded.
No, well, I want to come to those issues. Actually, it was here on the SABC, I think one of your programs, the one that is done by Vuyo. They were interviewing
the watchdog.
The watchdog. They were interviewing the head of the Hawks, something, and he was explaining I mean, and I thought it was quite empowering to some of us who are communicators of the ANC as well, that the Criminal Procedures Act imposes certain levels of conduct on suspects, on witnesses. So they've got a section that deals with witness protection. When you are a suspect, you will then be warned. And once you are warned, you make a statement, and such statement is taken under oath. It means that if you are, for a period of time up until those things are finalized, you wouldn't want to be going and saying more than what you will already have said to law enforcement officers. The same goes to witnesses. Witnesses are placed under witness protection. So you and I, where we are today, we do not know where does this investigation of the Hawks place the president of the ANC.
All right.
Is he a suspect? Is he a witness? What are the issues? But even with that, whether he is any of the two, he is still protected by those confidentialities imposed by the Criminal Procedures Act.
All right, Pule, I'm hoping that we speak again, after the NEC and see what happens then with this nomination process and all the other issues. But thank you for coming in. Do appreciate your time. That was the ANC spokesperson, Pule Mabe.